Welcome back to Viltrumics. To wrap up this episode, we wanted to wrap up our live action Invincible casting. This week, we're continuing with Omni Man, Adam Eve, Rex, and Immortal. Megan, let's start with you this week. Let me know. Tell us who your picks are for Omni Man.
Yeah, so um this lineup of characters was just as tough as last week's. Um the other three kind of only have one, but for Omni-Man I brainstormed a few. Um
Excited.
there's so there's another one that I saw on I think TikTok, kind of like the John Cena casting for Alan last week.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two that in just my general search for like trying to like bring actors to my mind that I was like, maybe I could see them in it. Um, so I'll start with the one that I kind of pulled from TikTok just because once I saw it, I was like, yeah, like just such a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that is John Hamm, who also voiced, that security guard in like the first two episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he kind of just has he kind of has that look. Like he fits in that general age. I think he's John Hamm's got to be like early to mid 50s now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he has like such a kind of rectangular face like Omni Man does. Just kind of like well defined eyebrows, big eyes. Like he's intimidating. He's very like his features are very bold in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but obviously, just as an actor, he's very good at playing intense and serious characters. Obviously, Mad Men is a big one, which I'm only on like season 3 of that show, but just from the first two seasons, obviously, I mean, he knows what he's doing. And then in something like Baby Driver, where he's can really lean into like a villain character.
Yeah.
He's very intimidating. Um, So I think like once I saw that fan cast on TikTok, I hasn't really ever left my brain. Um, I think he would be a really good fit.
Mm-hmm.
But the other two actors I considered, one of them is Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays Negan on The Walking Dead and has done stuff like Watchmen and Supernatural, and I think he's on The Boys season 4 actually as a character. Um, But he's another actor that has a very just again kind of bold features. Like he also has kind of bushier eyebrows and
Mm-hmm.
larger eyes. He's like 58. He definitely I don't know if he's as like um if his overall build is as intimidating as John Hamm's. In just that you're 58, like
Yeah.
you're a 58-year-old guy.
Nothing a few
Uh,
months training and a strict diet can't do.
Right, that's the thing. It's like I think if you just put him in gave him a personal trainer and like
Hmm.
he looks pretty fit. I
Yeah.
just think he would probably need to bulk up a little more,
Mhm.
which I'm sure he could do. But he's obviously someone, as we've seen in The Walking Dead, like that is quite intimidating.
Mhm.
Um, just quite a serious actor. So I think it would be fun for him, especially like feel like so many people know him from The Walking Dead, who's a villain that's like, well, maybe he's more of an anti-hero in the later
Mhm.
seasons, but he's a villain that's um scary and intense, but also like kind of funny. Like um he doesn't always like he kind of presents himself as someone who is just kind of laughing at the horrors that are going on around him. It's a really great performance, and I think it would be interesting to see him play someone like Nolan, who was very intense and serious, but also like part of him is like just this like family guy, like just this dad and this husband who wants to know where like what place in France is selling those like chocolate pastries or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it'd be fun to see him do a role where he can kind of explore those different sides of him.
Hmm.
Uh, and then the last one I have is and this one is maybe more the most like wild card slash a little bit of a gamble. But it's Nikolai Coster-Waldau who played Jamie Lannister on Game of Thrones. I don't know if you're ever into that show.
No,
Um,
I haven't watched
you
it.
would like it, yeah. Um,
Okay.
but he plays one of the main characters on a show with 5 billion characters. And he's again someone that I don't know what his American accent's like,
Mhm.
but again that he's an actor that I think is was so great at playing a very dramatic character, but someone that was so like nuanced and complex, and you couldn't always necessarily read his motivations or like um who he really was loyal to. Um,
Yeah.
and that character I think was always doing so much self-reflection, kind of like Nolan. And so I think while he doesn't maybe visually look as close to the source material as John Hamm or Jeffrey Dean Morgan, like it's a live action adaptation, so like sometimes you can like roll the dice.
Hmm.
Um, so those are the three actors that I wrote down that
Yeah.
I would maybe be most interested. But
I I
who did
love
you pick?
the Nikolaj choice. I don't know him personally, but just like the way he
Mm,
described him and that he was like in Game of Thrones, and then I just looked at his IMDb real quick,
yeah,
and it looks like he was in this like
right.
2023 film with Jennifer Gardner, and he just like gives like dad vibes in it. So I think
Okay.
that would be a really good choice. I would love to see more of him. Maybe this is my excuse to finally watch Game of Thrones.
I think you would like it. Yeah.
Yeah, so my choices, you actually took my choices.
Ooh.
Um, I whoa. I also chose Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I think he just has an evil look to him very naturally. I think knowing like the
Mhm.
context of the character he plays in The Walking Dead helps that. Um,
Yeah.
he is, like you had said, he's a bit on the older side, but I don't know, I love, especially in season two, like the salt and pepper look that Omni-Man has in season two. So I think that would look really
Yeah.
great with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But yeah, you hit all the things about him that would make him a good actor for this role. And then I of course also chose John Hamm. He has the
Yeah.
build for it. He had and has John Hamm or Jeffrey Dean Morgan ever been in the superhero world?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in the
Oh,
2009 movie
mhm.
Watchmen.
Yes.
John Hamm, as far
Mhm.
as I know, no, other than voicing that dude in Invincible. But
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think
um,
that's what would make John Hamm so fun is he hasn't had an opportunity to do this yet, even though he's such an
yeah,
incredible, well-known actor, that I think this would
mm,
be a fun like role for him to do.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Right. Well, those I think those are good choices for our Omni-Man. Do you have like a top choice out of the three?
Um, it's hard for me to not like picture John Hamm first,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe that's because like on paper he's like the safest choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing with a lot of like live action fan casts I see is that often people go for like who visually is matching this character the best that, has some acting cred to their name
Mm-hmm.
to back it up.
Yeah.
Um, but I think like, I mean, you're obviously in casting, like sometimes that's not always like doesn't mean they're like the best choice. So
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Nikolai Coster-Waldau would also be a
Yeah, I like that a
just
lot.
maybe a fun gamble.
Hmm. Cool. Well, let's move on to, I think, one of our favorite characters from this series, Eve, Adam Eve. Um, let's do it. So, one of my choices for Adam Eve is Madeline Arthur. She is from, and also I want to say I'm not just choosing redheads for this one. A couple of my choices are redheads, but I think you can always dye a woman's hair. Uh,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Madeline Arthur, she is from, I know her most from To All the Boys I Loved before, but she was
Hmm.
also on ABC's The Family. She has such a fun personality as an actor, and also her character in All the Boys I Loved Before. She's hilarious. Um, I would just love to see more of her. I'm a big fan of her. So that is one of my choices. My next choice, speaking of safe choices, I just think Sadie Sink would be a great choice for this character. Um,
Yeah.
the red hair, like, sure, she has red hair, but also she just has this energy to her where she can stand on her own 2 feet and like defend herself against other people. And I think that's what I love about Adam Eve so much, is she is such an independent woman who has really cool superpowers. And
Mhm.
I think Sadie Sink is such a well-rounded actor. I would love to see her in more things outside of Stranger Things. I know she's in other projects, but I want to see her in like another big franchise things, because I think she has held her ground in the Stranger Things world. Um,
Yeah.
and I think she just fits the character on paper very well. She has a good look. She has just a natural energy to her. And I definitely think she's like a strong enough actor to take on like a superhero kind of role. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So my next choice is Maya Hawke. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
I love Maya Hawke. She's incredible. So I think she would just be a really fun choice as well. Um, She's also like a lot younger than I thought she was. She's only 25, and I think she reads
Oh,
young
that's cool.
very well.
Yeah.
Specifically like in Do Revenge and Stranger Things. And I think she's just like a fun actor, and I think adding something like this to her resume would be good for her, and she would just kill it. Um, and then my next choice is the beloved Nicole Wheeler.
I
Yes,
thought about it as like a
yes,
joke.
does Nicole Wheeler have red hair? Yes, she does. But is she also a very incredible, strong actress? Yes, she is. And so
Mhm.
if we're looking for, someone to give this role to, who we want like to see like book their first big thing, I think Nicole Wheeler
True.
would be a great choice. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Those
For
that those are my
context, everybody,
those are my choices.
Nicole Wheeler is,
I don't know if anyone like has contact with Nicole Wheeler, but like,
I can like try and pull some strings and see. Maybe our producer can get in touch with her.
yeah, maybe. I think
We'll
they've
try.
done cool things together.
For context, everyone, Nicole Wheeler is someone that Bree and I went to school with who was performing arts, and is a redhead. So
It's true.
that is the right demographic for Adam Eve.
And is a good
Um,
actor.
yeah, yes. Um, a lovely human. But I also went with Sadie Sink, which again, it is that's I know I just said how like I acted all like smug about like the TikTok fan cast and how they pick like the most obvious ones, but sometimes it is like that first one that comes to mind. Um, yeah, not only does she look the part in terms of just age and general hair color, um, just seeing her work in Stranger Things and The Whale, um, she does have kind of this rebellious
Yeah.
nature that she can do really well, and I think that's important for Adam Eve. And I think it would be, she plays Max on Stranger Things, um, who is a bit more maybe tomboyish than Adam Eve is, and
Hmm.
I think it could be cool to see Sadie Sink play a character who's a bit more just so like genuinely wants to help people and is a very maybe just a overall a sweeter, like kinder character than Max on Stranger Things, who is also a good character, but
Hmm.
a different type of character for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's just a good, if especially if you go with someone more unknown for Mark Grayson, like having a good like young like name that is gonna get Gen Z people like tuning in. Um, I think Sadie Sink feels like a really just good marketable pick.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I really do like Sadie Sink. Um, or Brie, I mean, you could just dye your hair red.
Yeah. Yeah. In a couple school plays back in high school.
Yeah, easy.
This is my
That's
throwing
all it
my hat in
takes.
the ring.
Yeah,
I do
Obama, make it happen.
I do want to mention a lot of people, like per my research on this, a lot of people do choose Abigail Cohen for Adam Eve. Um, I don't doubt their choice for Abigail. I am just not familiar with her work. But I'm sure
Me
she's a
neither.
great choice. Do you know who
I'm
she
looking at.
uh,
No, I'm trying to find what her credits are. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Mhm. Well, I think she's done
Um,
a superhero-esque show. Um, but I'm also like, yeah, let's see.
she definitely looks the part too as
The
well.
Lynx saga, maybe that's what they're referring to. She was also in Stranger Things
Oh, really?
in 2 episodes.
Who plays let me find that one Stranger Things character. Um oh, the actress who plays Chrissy in season 4,
Oh, yeah.
Grace Van Dien.
Mhm.
I don't I just thought of her as we're just talking about Stranger Things. She's got to be only okay, 27, yeah. Um I don't know if you give her more red hair perhaps, but that's not a pick that's like rooted in much like I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of support for her right this minute, other than that she's very attractive. Um, but um, yeah, those are good picks. Um, Maya Hawke's an interesting one. Um, she just has such a quirky look.
Yeah.
Um,
I think she could.
but
I think I just think she's such a talented actress. She could really dial it down for like who Eve is.
yeah,